speaking to women only. Most of the times, what I have to say to women, I actually have to say to myself. I say that to myself as well. So thank you very much. Today, I hope I can just open for you a magical door. I have a granddaughter who's 4 years old, and we have a few trees in our backyard. And this child has this tendency to say to me, Mom, let's go to your magic tree. So she found a magic tree in our backyard, and she often takes me there. And then when we get to the yard, she presses like a make believe button, and a magic door opens, and the two of us we enter this magic realm. And she says, Ma, can you see the beautiful playground and the colors and the fairies? And oh, it's so beautiful. So, this is what I would like to do for you today. I would like for you to come with me on this journey and come with me to this magical door and walk through this door with me. Because what I have to share with you today is something that we have to think about in this age of the pandemic. Um, there's so much going on. It feels crazy. It feels chaotic. It feels complex. From day to day, we don't know what is going to happen. So I want to invite you for a moment just to put everything aside. Just put everything aside and just take a nice deep breath. The one thing that is being amplified for us during this time is the preciousness of life, the preciousness of our breath. There's so many people dying that when that breath is gone, it's gone. So this whole pandemic is throwing life and death into our faces. And I just want you to take a nice deep breath. And as you take in that breath, just become aware of the many families that is losing loved ones, that's losing life or health due to this virus. That is the people that are losing jobs, people that are losing income, people that are struggling to put food on the table. Let's just for a moment drop into ourselves and just take a nice deep breath. And as you take that breath, just breathe out gratitude and thanksgiving for the opportunity for us to be here this morning in conversation, in how we can help our own families and how we can help others. So it is very important for us to become aware of this preciousness of the breath. Thank you. So as you come back, um, I feel I feel truly humbled to have this conversation with you. Um, so the existential realities of the pandemic and especially our lockdown, South Africa's lockdown, is like a horror movie. I'm not sure how you navigate the situation at the moment. But for many of us, it's like a horror movie, right? Um, why do I say horror movie? I say horror movie because it feels so surreal. Um, when you look at the situation, I love this word unprecedented because it gives such an apt description of how uncertain this moment in time is for us. A time of change, a time of chaos, a time of great complexity. And yes, there's a lot of complexity in the bigger world and locally in South Africa. But the complexity is also in our homes. The complexity is in the way we have to work right now. And I love this concept of we are being asked, or forced rather, to think fast and think slow at the same time. And this is a concept that was made famous by Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel laureate, when he said that that fast thinking and slow thinking is required, and it depends on the person when that happens. The hero or the heroine is always the slow thinking because it forces us to slow down and to become aware of what's going on. So my experience is that indeed we are forced to think fast and to think slowly right now. So when we breathe in this breath that I was asking you to breathe in, I'm asking you to, to think about the collective anxiety that is happening, um, the collective tears that's being shed. I'm inviting you to have an open mind, to suspend all skepticism, to suspend all narrow mindedness. This is not a time for us to have bias. This is not a time for us to have judgment. This is not a time for us, to try and think clever, be clever, look clever. I'm inviting you into what is called the beginner's mind. The beginner's mind is where you just take everything out of your mind and say, okay, what is required of me in this time? How am I supposed to behave? What am I supposed to think? So this beginner's mind gives us an opportunity to really wipe the slate clean. Also important for us is to grieve our losses. There's so much loss. There's the loss of what we knew last year. Last year, and I heard some of you saying that you had conversations at the beginning of this year, March. Um, all of those kind of things are gone. They're gone. I don't think we can even begin to go back to February and say, "Oh, do you remember this happened in February?" Because it's such a new normal, as Marianne put it. Um, so it is important for us. It's very, very important for us to say, how must I grieve this loss? Where in my body is this grieving sitting? How can I go there and process these tears that I feel that I cannot shed, even if it's not for your own family, but for the collective. South Africa is losing a lot at the moment. So give up the idea that suffering is a Christian virtue. It's not. Suffering is suffering, and we're all suffering at the moment. I also want to invite you to let go of the survival mindset, because in this conversation, I'm going to show you how having this survival mindset is not going to serve us at this point in time, because we cannot exist the way we were, after the pandemic. There's no way that we can just continue with our lives. So this is an invitation to let go, to surrender, to really get to know what does it mean to surrender. What does it really, really mean to let go? This is also an invitation to say, where do I start picking up my pieces again? This invitation is for you to start with yourself. You cannot start with anybody else. You can't start with anything. It is just that is just not possible. We have to start with ourselves. Then we have to start with our family, and then friends, and then we um, spiral out to the bigger society. So there's an invitation for you to become conscious, to become aware, and also to consider the possibility of a new beginning. If the government decides to lift the whole lockdown in a week's time, what is going to happen in your space? What new resolve will you take? What new language will you use? What new outlook will you have? What new power postures will you take on? These are decisions and choices that we need to really deeply consider. And this is going to take effort, right? Um, is the pandemic the end, or is it the beginning? It's both. Like the fast and slow thinking, the pandemic really gives us an ending to a lot of things, and it gives us a beginning to new things as well. Um, so as we dive in, I want to go to the existential realities that's happening for us at the moment. Um, we talked about the complexities. Now, this is the macro level of South Africa. Globally, we know what is happening. Markets are crashing, economies are going down, but I want to focus on South Africa. The statistics in South Africa is growing at an alarming rate. The COVID statistics, so is the recovery statistics. However, the death rate is also escalating. So we feel this a collective loss of life that is happening. Just yesterday, I was in a call, and a lady was saying she lost two siblings in the space of 2 weeks. Now this is huge for a family, because you haven't even grieved one person, and then you have to bury another one and grieve another one. So it is really problematic. Um, the economist Davy Rood, I'm not sure if you are familiar with Davy Rood. I sometimes follow his forecasting, and he is painting a very, very, very gloomy picture of the economy at the moment. But even if you don't listen to Davy and you go to the budget reports of the finance minister, Mr. Tito Mboweni, you will see as well that South Africa is not in a good state at all. Our economy is spiraling downwards, with the national debt spiraling out of control. Um, on the TV, when you open the news, you see how hungry people are protesting, fighting, queuing up for food parcels. Everywhere job losses is happening. In my own home, I was confronted with my husband getting a letter asking him if he wanted to take a retrenchment package. He said no, he only has 1 year for his retirement left. So even as close as home, we feel the job losses. Unemployment rates have escalated. There was a 30% increase in unemployment now. There's so many news, fake news doing the rounds. There in the news the other day was this horrible picture of pyramid schemes jumping up everywhere and people making money out of poor people. People are taking pay cuts, and it is just the social distancing is just so problematic for us. So the chaos, the craziness, the complexities are escalating. They're not getting better, they're actually getting a lot um, worse. Confinement to our homes with very short periods of time to prepare. Remember when the lockdown was announced, we didn't have a lot of time to prepare. And we were confined. We were told to go into your house and close your door and stay there. There was no psychological preparation for people and for the trauma that was awaiting us. Families with many outside activities suddenly together in one house, and mothers are going crazy because they have to homeschool now, and they have to do so many chores around the house plus do their office work. So home help has stopped for many people, and people are told you can only go out for essential services. You have to wear a mask when you go out, and some people started wearing gloves at the beginning. You have to wash your hands the whole day, which is totally crazy because, when I look at my hands, the dryness, I've never seen my hands so dry in a very, very long time. You have to sanitize everything you buy. You have to sanitize your shoes, your clothes, get out of your clothing when you come from the shop. There is this crisis management of everything. There's this loneliness people feel in their own homes when they are living alone. There are a lot of mental health issues. There's fear. People are angry. People get violent. People protest. People break shops. There is just chaos everywhere. Having said all of this, consciousness asks us to pause and just to come to grips with yourself. What have you experienced in your personal situation? Let's get in touch with your feelings, with your mental health. Um, let's get in touch with what are you feeling? What are you experiencing? How are you dealing with this pandemic, with the lockdown, with the fact that you have to wash your uh, uh, grocery items when you come back from the shop. How are you handling this? How are you holding up? Are you speaking about it? Um, there is this acute, I call it an acute disruption in every aspect of our lives. Um, the natural state of women is to go into self-doubt. What am I going to do? Can I do this? How am I going to cope? I don't know how to homeschool my children. I don't even understand their schoolwork. Um, Also, women have this tendency, fearing to fail. I don't want to be seen that I cannot handle this. Um, Sometimes there's inertia. I don't know what to do. I feel so stuck. And then blame the government, maybe. Why do they do this? How did they come to this kind of decision? And then one of the biggest problems that us women do is we overthink. We go into overthink. We start ruminating in our heads. Oh my goodness, what is going on? I don't know how to do this. Oh, my husband is not helping. The children are not behaving. I'm so tired. So, this is a very tough time. I think this is one of the toughest times in our lives. One of the toughest times. And just for a moment, drop into yourself and pause and ask yourself, what is going on? How am I feeling about all of this? Because these are things we don't do. So, what is the truth of the matter? The truth of the matter is that natural life is about thriving and not surviving. We have strayed away so far away from ourselves, and we find ourselves finding it very difficult to cope in this situation. And when I look deeper into this pandemic, and I look deeper into the fact that we are being asked to wear a mask most of the time, it's not natural for us to wear masks. It's not natural for us to close our mouths. It's not natural for people to be socially distanced from one another. So, what is really going on? What is really going on? What is going on underneath the surface? The way I make sense of all of this is that we are being required to unmask psychologically. We have become a humanity that is so stunted in emotion. We have become a humanity that is so materialistic. We have become a humanity that is just, damaging nature. We look at the climate change that is happening. The rainforest, the other day, the rainforest was burning out of control. Here in South Africa, we had the Knysna fires, we have the Cape Town fires, so many things happening, the floods. We are a humanity out of control. And this pandemic is asking us to unmask by making the mask visible for us. This is a mystical experience. This is a spiritual experience for humanity. And if we are fast asleep, we will miss this opportunity. And then you remember when Jesus was given over to Pontius Pilate? He said, I'm washing my hands in innocence. I don't want to have any part of this. Can we wash our hands in innocence? Can we really, really, even if we wash our hands 10 times a day due to the pandemic, can the government wash their hands in innocence? Look at the corruption happening in South Africa. Every department in the public sector, there's an issue there. Our municipalities, when you look at your bills for your rates and your electricity, you notice that it's just escalating. The question I have, as I make meaning of all of this, is: can any of us wash our hands in innocence? We have been sent inside to our inner chambers to go and reflect. We have been sent inside, so to speak, to take stock. to go and assess where are we as a humanity. Families are falling apart. Divorce rates are escalating. Um, Violence against women is escalating. Violence against children is escalating. The world has gone crazy. We need to give nature a break. That's why we have been sent inside. And the question is, how are we doing? How are we doing? How are we doing? Now, thrivers will think from a different mindset. Thrivers will say, let me think about this. Let me take a moment. Survivors will say, you know what? We will get through this pandemic and life will go on. We will get back, and I will continue. I will go back to my job. I will go back to my family, and life will just I will just go on as usual. This is not business as usual. This is definitely not business as usual. We are being asked to look at life from a different lens altogether. And I'm inviting you to look at life from a different lens and from an awareness lens, a consciousness lens, um, and from a possibility lens. What is possible for me with this ending? What beginnings, new beginnings, is possible for me? There is this beautiful book by Rosalind and Ben Zander. It's called The Art of Possibility. And in this book, the beautiful part that I love of this book is that Ben Zander and Rosalind Zander, Ben is very musically inclined, and he teaches children how to enjoy music. He's the conductor of an orchestra, and every new child that joins his orchestra, it gives that child an A upfront. It gives that child an A, and then he says to this child, "What you do with this A is your business." And I make sense of this pandemic in this way, that God is giving us an A. He's saying, "I'm taking the old world away, and I'm giving you something new, and I'm giving you an A." So what we do with that A is our business. We need to make a mind shift, and we need to say, if I have this A in my hand and I get out of this pandemic alive, what am I going to do? So, because our talk is stepping out of surviving into thriving, I thought it fit to just define surviving for us and to define thriving. So, the Oxford Dictionary of the Business World defines surviving as just a continuation of existing after an incident or life experience. Um, so, I was telling Marianne and Annette that in 1999, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I had to make a decision. Am I going to survive this cancer, or am I going to be a thriver? So I said, I had this conversation with God, and I said, God, if I live after this cancer, I don't want to be a survivor. I don't want to just continue to exist. I want to thrive. And I want to use my life in a way that will take not only myself forward, but that will take other people forward as well. So when we survive, we just continue, you know. It's like a woman who had her breast maybe amputated. She would just take a bra and fill up the bra and continue as if nothing had happened. Um, but deep in herself, she knows something has happened, but she's pretending that all is well. She survived the cancer and she will just continue with her life. A thriver, on the other hand, has purpose and meaning. Your life is on par with a purpose, with a destiny call. And there's prosperity, there's flourishing, you continue to grow. And I also liken the whole idea of thriving with the magic of a caterpillar dissolving totally to become this butterfly. And this is the beautiful metaphor that I'm inviting us in to consider, that in this pandemic, we all have caterpillar status at the moment. We are being asked, we're being nudged, we are being pushed to dissolve like the caterpillar and to become a thriving butterfly. The question is, will you be able to step out of that survival mode that you might find yourself in right now? It is very easy for me to sit here and to say, step out of survival and into thriving. And then the question becomes, how do I do this? What are the indicators for me? What is the roadmap for me to become a thriver instead of a survivor? So when you look at the indicators of thriving, there's adaptability. How adaptable are we as women? Can we adapt to any new set of circumstances that is in front of us? And character, what is your character like? Or do you have strength of character, or do you just fall for everything? If there's a sale at a shop now, do you run there just because you need to fill up your cupboards? Um, you know, when you hear the reports coming out, do you attack, you know, the president for saying whatever? Character is really a very important aspect of thrivers. A caring attitude. You know, we need to care about each other. If I don't care about my neighbor, I am in trouble. Not my neighbor, I am in trouble. So caring is very important. We need to have a caring attitude. Connection. This is a time of connection, even though we've been asked to social distance. But when you look deeper into this whole situation, this complex situation, you will actually find more people are connecting. People are connecting online. People are taking food parcels to poor people. People that have never connected before are connecting. So there is really these indicators of thriving already visible for us. Um, Connect with a vision. Thrivers connect with a vision. What are you going to do once this pandemic is over? What is the vision for your company? What is the vision for your family? What is the vision for yourself, for your own life? What are you going to do? Companies are already starting to restructure. When I read the business sections of the newspaper, companies are already starting to relook at what was working, what was not working. Companies are cutting people that did not give value to their ethos and their productivity and everything else. Um, Thriving also has this radical confidence. Now, women, pardon, in my work, I've discovered that that is an area where women are sorely lacking. We give this facade of, I'm confident, I'm out there, I can do this, look at me, you know, my makeup is in place. However, deep inside, we just cover up this radical lack of confidence. Thriving asks that you take on this power posture of radical confidence and say, even though I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, I am going to stand for it and do it. Um, Another indicator of thriving is competence. Um, Competence is about, you know, knowing what to do when you have to do it. I'm always encouraging women to continue their learning. It is very important for us to grow, to have a growth mindset, a learning mindset, continuous education. And because, you know, the world is opening up for women, and if you're not competent enough, you're not going to be taken into consideration. The other indicator is an open mind. Um, Here I'm asking, you know, for that openness, the letting go of the narrow-mindedness, the bias, the judgment that we talked about at the beginning. A willingness to take a risk. Many women are not willing to take risks. They will have all sorts of excuses why they cannot do this, cannot do that, can't start a business, cannot, you know, market their business. Women have many excuses for many things. And I see this in my clients as well, until they see the possibilities open for them. Um, Another indicator is deep receptivity. How receptive are you for new knowledge, for newness, for new things, for a new mindset? How receptive are you? Women give a lot. We give all the time for everyone. We have so much to give. How receptive are you? How open are you to receive? Are you a good receiver? Women have a very big difficulty with receiving, and they will have all sorts of excuses why they can't. A thriver is plugged into a higher power or an understanding that you have of God. Some people call God and God, and some people call God the universe, and some people call it something else. It doesn't matter what you call this higher power. What is important is the plugging in. Are you plugged in to this higher power on a daily basis? Because if you are plugged in, you can get your charging from that higher power to go on and continue with what you need to do. It's like plugging in your cell phone. If your battery of your cell phone is low, you have to plug it in, isn't it? So we also need to plug in to get our electricity from this higher power. And this is one of the indicators that I love, because many people, they will cite maybe scripture, holy words. When you look at WhatsApp, all these holy words coming over the screens every day, whole day. The question is, are we really plugged in? Thrivers don't know the how. They just know there's a why. Thrivers don't know the how, and you don't have to know the how. The how will present itself. But when you do make an effort to have that vision and your why is clear, the how will present itself. Another important thing is radical self-responsibility. A thriver takes really radically self-responsibility very seriously. We start with ourselves. I need to take responsibility for myself, for my actions, for my words, for what I put out into the universe. If I cannot take that radical self-responsibility, then I am in trouble. So women must really, really have a very deep think around how can they take radical self-responsibility. In this time of the pandemic, who is the one that is suffering the most in the household? It is the mother. Why? Because she has to run the house, she has to do her office work, she has to take care of the children, she cooks all the time. So how can she take responsibility for herself? By having a radical self-care program. We have to take radical self-responsibility. Positive emotions. It is very difficult to feel positive at this time. It's very difficult to feel, to have positive language, to have a positive attitude. To when you go out into the shops, it is, and the person starts coughing here next to you. It's very, very difficult to stay positive. However, thrivers do have that kind of positivity around them. It's the survivor that says, I just came from this thing. Please don't come near to me. I really don't need this coughing around me right now. So a thriver will, in a way that is caring for everyone involved, a thriver will make sure that even if that interaction has to happen where you have to tell a person to maybe step a bit away from you, that it's done in a beautiful, caring, positive way. Another indicator of thriving is trusting your intuition. Men, women, everybody has an intuition, or an inner tutor, as I would like to think of it sometimes. How do you trust? Generally, are you a truster of people, or do you mistrust people? That is an indication of how you will trust this inner voice. Many times our inner voices are talking to us, women, and we have all this busyness in our head, and then we cannot listen to this inner voice. Sometimes this inner voice really has to shout so loud. Um, so if you are not a person that listens to this inner voice, I'd like to invite you to listen, to be receptive to that whisper inside of yourself. When you're tired, listen to that voice. Trust that voice. When that voice says to you, take this package, you know, you have been retired for a while now. Take this package. And outside, it doesn't even look like you should take this package, but this voice is saying, this is your opportunity. Listen to that voice, trust your voice. Your inner tutor will never take you down the wrong path. So, just by looking at these indicators, how can you cultivate these now and for after the pandemic? I would like to think that we don't have a lot of time. You could die tomorrow. How are you using your time? Not your time for office work. I'm speaking about your time for possibility, your time for um, consciousness, your time for personal awareness, your time for plugging in to a higher power. How are you using this time? Time and consciousness is the new currency. Here, this pandemic is showing us, ladies, that you could die tomorrow. What's going to happen to your children? What's going to happen to your household? This business that we are cherishing so much, you will not be around to enjoy that anymore. So, how are we using our time? The important thing to recognize is that the only moment you have is now. The only moment that you have is now. This moment where you and I are sitting having this conversation is the only moment that counts. Nothing else matters. If you are not 100% on this call, there is a problem. Because this moment that Marianne and Annette has brought to you is the only moment that is important to you right now. You might leave the computer and fall and drop dead. Or you might go outside after this call to the shop and contract the virus and get gravely ill. However, that is another moment. This moment, this now moment, is the only moment that matters. And this now moment is so powerful that it can determine your whole future. So, what you do with your moments, with your time, with your present moment time is important. Think about it. Think about it when you leave this call. How precious is your time? When last have you contacted or plugged in to that greater power? When last did you have a good look at your values? What drives your family? What drives you? Um, what has become important to you? Rate your vitality. Many of us, we are so tired. We say, oh, we must work from home. There's so many things to do. Our vitality is dropping at an alarming rate. People are getting so sick. I have been busy this whole pandemic time since April with clients seeking help, um, just to talk to somebody about how this is affecting them. So if you allow your vitality to drop, what is happening to you? How do you navigate this time? Are you truthful towards yourself? Where are you spinning out of control? Is your marriage taking strain? Your relationships with your children, your teenage children, is it taking strain? Your finances, how's your finances doing? Is it taking strain? Your body, are you taking your vitamins, your calcivita, whatever, or are you saying, oh, I'll take it later on, I'm first going to check this, do that, sit on social media, do my work, do my office work? Where are you spinning out of control? And then when last have you made a decent assessment of your quality of life? This is really, really important stuff, ladies. because we only have now. I invite you to stop all judgment of yourself. I invite you to stop all skepticism about anything. There is no time for that anymore. I invite you to become a risk taker in your own life. Take a risk on yourself. Take a risk on your self-care. Take a risk to do something good for you today. You've been doing so much good for other people. Just do something for yourself today. Richard Bach, I don't know if you know the book Jonathan Livingston Seagull. He also wrote another book called Illusions. And Richard Bach says that even tragedy has a gift for you in its hands. Even tragedy has a gift for you in its hands. Look for the gift in this pandemic. Today, right now, this is a gift. This is a gift for me to be able to share uh, this talk with you, um, this knowledge with you, this consciousness with you. Even in the face of all this tragedy happening in our country, there is a gift for us. Look for the gift. Deal with the changes. Smile, deal with your self-talk. That self-talk can really get us in trouble. And then what is standing out for me so much in this pandemic is that our materialism, the materialistic way in which we have started to live, it's not serving us. We have to start living minimalistically. So what are the tools that I can give you, ladies, for cultivating this thriving mindset? There are so many, and I'd like to share the following with you. First of all, start with a vision. Today, jot down here and there as you go about your house, your business. Think about, what do I want after this pandemic? This pandemic could have taken my life, and I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to be married to this monster anymore. I don't want my children to suffer anymore. I don't want this business anymore. This is not my passion. Even if you're not going to step out of your current situation, but just take a moment and see if there is a vision that is trying to emerge for you somewhere. A personal vision for me is like psychological fuel. It's like emotional fuel. When there's a vision, people have so much possibility. The Bible proverb says, where there's no vision, the people perish, right? Um, it is the same. If you don't have a vision in your home, your family will perish. That is for sure. So have a vision, ladies. Have a vision. Sit down, jot down, make notes. Have a vision. If you're close to retirement, what do you want to do after you step out of that job? If you're not going to have a business for the rest of your life, if you want to do something else, what is it? Look at your hands. Look at your hands. The future is in your hands. I always thought, when I was in corporate, I always thought my future was in the hands of my employer. I was so wrong. I was so wrong. The future was in my hands. I was just having this belief that I needed my employer to look at my future, but it was not true. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be after this pandemic? Think about it. Think fast and think slow about it. When you think fast, you use your logic. When you think slow, you use your intuition. But feel into your body when you're looking at things. What is your body saying to you? Assess your reality and, so many families don't have a disaster management plan. Do you have one in your home, in your house? When the lockdown happened, did you know exactly, if there's a disaster striking your family, what you're going to do? Did your daughters know, if they have children, did they know what they're going to do? If you get sick on the road, is there a recovery plan? where they can just go and say, oh, I can do this, I can do that. This is my disaster management document. This is very important. How many households has a disaster management um, plan or strategy, or just, where everybody knows if this is happening, we go there. That is where my mother keeps things. That is where she does things. This is the bag she keeps her documents in, that kind of thing. It's very important that we have a recovery plan. Um, I remember when I was working for UJ, so many libraries were being burnt down. And UJ was asking us if this library should burn down the way libraries are being burnt down in South Africa at the escalating rate at which they burnt libraries down. Do we have a recovery plan? If there's a flood in your library, Julia, will you be able to recover the bulk of these books, the bulk of these computers? I'm asking you today, ladies, do you have a recovery plan? Or just a recovery list or intentional document for your family to say, when this pandemic is over, when this lockdown is over and done with, this is how this family will recover. Then one of the most important tools that I cannot amplify and highlight more is tracking. Tracking. Do you know at any point in time where your family members are? Do you know where your documents are? Do you know where the most important um, files are that you need for your business? Tracking is extremely important. Tracking your finances at any given time. Can you say this is this, uh, um, um, the balance in my account? The movements of your family members. If you're living here in Johannesburg and some members are in Cape Town or KZN or wherever, do you know where they are? Do you know what is happening with your investments? Are you tracking your investments? The markets are crashing. Investments, Wall Street, and all those JSE, they're not doing that very well today. Where is your investment standing? Tracking. I cannot amplify that enough. Choices. Track decisions that you've made. Maybe you have to make a new decision. What you decided yesterday might not stand today anymore. Tracking is very important. And then paying attention to habits. Do you have good eating habits? Do you have good health habits? Do you have exercise habits? These things are so important because it ups our quality of life. Get into the flow. Get into the flow of things. Survival is just getting stuck into the now, into the, there's nothing, the inertia. There's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is, kind of thing. Pardon, I'm asking you to pay attention. Consciousness is paying attention. What is happening now? Paying attention, noticing what you are noticing. Noticing what you are noticing. I cannot stress that enough. Then start a reserve fund. There's this beautiful, simple way of starting a reserve fund, which I call Project Change. What are you doing with your change when you come back from the shop? Start a reserve fund. Start small, but start a reserve fund. Many households don't have a reserve fund. So if the unexpected happens, they don't know what to do. When this pandemic lockdown started, many people didn't have money for food. People don't know about having reserve funds. Ladies, I cannot stress this enough. Even if you start with a 10 Rand in a jar, start a reserve fund. When that 10 Rand is 100 Rand, take it to a bank, open a new account, call it your reserve fund. Every month you take a tenth of your salary after you have paid all your bills or whatever, and you go put a little bit in that reserve fund. I promise you, I promise you, I learned about this reserve fund a long time ago, and I can tell you the benefits of having that fund. And I told nobody that I started a project change, and it escalated into thousands of rands for me. And then an important thing is to simplify your material life. You know, we are a consumerist community, a consumerist culture, consumerist humanity. We just buy and buy and buy and buy, whether we use it, not use it, we hoard it. I am inviting you to simplify your life, to unclutter your home, to unclutter your mind, to unclutter your life, to throw away old stuff, to give it away to the poor, and then learn in new ways of shift your beingness, um, get a new mindset, you know, change your body, your posture, your spiritual awareness, your choices, your decisions, and how you take action. When you consider doing these things, I promise you, your life will change in the most amazing ways. And you don't have to go big. You start small. You start small. So in the morning, if you don't have a ritual in the morning, you start with a small ritual. You say, I'm going to wake up 10 minutes earlier and just sit quietly. Whether I pray, whether I meditate, whether I just sit, I'm just going to be there and say, um, God, here I am. Thank you that I'm breathing. Thank you, my husband is still breathing. My children are here. Thank you. And then just sit there in gratitude. Simple changes. I'm not asking you to make big changes. Then another practical tool is to start changing your language. How do you know what language you speak? I'm not speaking about Afrikaans or English or Zulu or isiXhosa. I'm talking about the language you speak in your head. We women have a very negative language that we speak in our heads to ourselves. I'm not beautiful. Look at my body. Oh, my hair is standing on edge. I didn't brush hair today. What were these people thinking? We speak a very negative language. I'm inviting you to consider the tool of changing your inner talk to yourself. A thriving mindset has a different language. It speaks beautiful. Oh, Julia, you are gorgeous. Even if my hair is standing all over the show. Julia, you are so gorgeous. Look at you. Wow, is that a new hairstyle? Oh my goodness, that body of yours is to die for, my girl. That is the language I'm talking about. And then your posture. A lot of us walk like we don't have anything to look up to. Maya Angelou invites us to walk like you have diamonds in your backyard. Change your posture, ladies. When you change your posture, that tool alone can give you radical confidence. And strut your stuff in your home. Nobody has to see you, you know? You walk like you're walking on high heels, even though you're walking in your socks, but you're strutting your stuff. Just changing that posture can do so much for you. Find a mentor. If you cannot start this new thriving mindset, find a mentor, find a role model, and then ask them, what are you doing to get all of this sorted for you? Show me, teach me. Um, Market yourself. You are business women. You are self-actualized business women. There's a particular way in which a woman markets. Let me tell you what that is. It's called seduction. Only a woman can seduce. Men cannot seduce. So if you change your marketing strategy to one of seduction, but seduction in the most beautiful possible, positive way. I'm not talking about the sexuality and the sex and um, the sluttiness. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying go and look at what happens when a woman is busy with seduction, and then bring that beauty and that differentness and that color and creativity into the way you market yourself as a businesswoman. And then pardon, cultivate a relationship with life. Cultivate a new way of walking through life. Um, Believe that life is organizing around you for your success, because it is true. When you look outside in your garden, your flowers just grow and flourish. It's there for your success, for you to look at them, to enjoy, isn't it? Every day the sun comes out for you, for me. Every night the moon shines for us. Every day, something is happening out there in nature that tells us that God is on our side. So that is a belief system that we have to cultivate, that life is organizing around us. Today you have this talk. This is part of how life is organizing around you for your success. When I listen to Marianne, I hear that there's this continuous growth opportunities. That is how life is organizing around you for your success. If you have had a full plate of food on your table every night this past lockdown period, that is how life is organizing around you for your success. So, in the feminine power um, circles that I move, that is such an apt saying that we have to remember that all of life, all of life is organizing around me for my success. And so I believe that. And every day when I open my eyes and I think about that, I am in such deep gratitude for me, for my life, for my breath, for my consciousness, for my confidence, for the fact that I can still work, that people need me, that I can make a difference in life. Um, Gratitude is an amazing tool. Gratitude can take us out of surviving straight into thriving. Just be grateful. What I'm going to just invite you into is not to just say thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude is a feeling. Gratitude must reverberate through your cells before it can make a difference. So if you're grateful, you have to drop into your body and to feel that gratitude there. So gratitude cannot just be, thank you. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you for this. Thank you. No, you have to feel it. You have to feel it. And even in tragedy and in crisis, you have to know that there is something to feel grateful for. There is something to be grateful for. I can go into nature. When I go out in the morning or in the afternoon sun, the sun has vitamin D for me. I don't have to stay there long. But there's so much to be grateful for. And it is important that we actually show our gratitude. You can do a gratitude journal if that is something that grabs you. Um, I don't every day sit down to write down my gratitude. I just feel it in my body. I feel it. When this morning I've had this cold for a few days now, but when I woke up this morning and I felt that it was lighter, I just felt so grateful for it that I can go and do my job, go and talk to the ladies today, go and do the presentation, and just be. So there was this beautiful feeling of gratitude. Um, be kind. Be kind. This tool I cannot stress enough. Kindness to yourself, loving kindness to yourself first. Have self-care. Go sleep early at night if you can. Take a bath now and again if you are a shower person. Be kind to yourself and then be kind to others. Loving kindness is like gratitude. You have to feel it in your body in order for it to make a difference. Decrease your reliance on things, on material things. If there's one thing this pandemic is teaching us, it is to decrease our reliance on the outside. Decrease your reliance on material things. It's not about the car, it's not about the house, it's not about the clothes we wear. It's about people. People are dying. We are having, we are being forced to social distance. We can't even go to our families. Um, so this is very important that we come back with an awareness that people are important, people first. I am first, and then my car, then my house. Um, so there is this certain way of doing things. Embrace your vulnerability. There's a lot of vulnerability at the moment. People who are living alone, they feel very vulnerable and lonely. Um, People going into a shop, you don't know who's got the virus there. There's a lot of vulnerability, ladies. Um, as women, when you look at the gender violence, there's a lot of vulnerability, you know. Um, just looking at the alcohol sales and how the alcohol sales when alcohol was banned the first time, um, how the gender violence increased because men who drink a lot or alcoholics, they were spiraling out of control. So women are so vulnerable, and get in touch with your vulnerability. This beautiful a work by Brené Brown where she talks about her vulnerability, and she was researching vulnerability and found her own vulnerability. And when she claimed it, you know, she discovered a gem. Um, so a very interesting thing is claim claiming your feminine energy. Women are so powerful beyond measure. Women can bring children in the world. Women are responsible for the nation, really. So, if that is the case, where is this power? Have you thought about it? Where is your feminine power? If you can carry a human being for 9 months, and some women can carry um, so many children over many years, where does that power come from? Where does that miracle potency come from? Women have so much power. Um, I don't know if you know the work of Shakespeare, Lady Macbeth. She asked that the gods de-sex her because she wanted to control her man. So she asked the gods to take her feminine sex away, her femininity away. To what extent, ladies, have you given your femininity away to control your situation? To what extent have you done that? Because by giving away that feminine power, that feminine energy, you have given your power away. Just think about it. Are you a Lady Macbeth? Is it important for you to be in control of things? Because there is a cost. There's a huge cost. There is a huge, this has got nothing to do with orientation, but it has everything to do with the reason why God created you a feminine. God gave you that feminine power. And it is important that you utilize that miracle potency. So claim this feminine energy. Claim it. It is yours. Um, practice radical self-care. I've talked about this. I've done a whole talk to women over many months about radical self-care. I talked to to a medical group, Theatre Sisters, last year at a conference on radical self-care. I can actually send Annette that document, and I can say, or Marianne, and a poem I wrote. Ladies, radical self-care during this time of the pandemic, not only for ladies, but also for men. Radical self-care is very, very important. Put yourself to sleep in a gentle way. How do you put yourself to sleep at night? You just drop into bed, you know, take your makeup off, drop into bed. There's a beautiful way of putting yourself to bed, calming down, taking a cup of chamomile tea, maybe, taking quiet time, 2 minutes quiet time. You deserve this. You deserve it. You give so much to your precious loved ones, to your job, to everyone around you. You also deserve this precious treatment. Another practical tool I don't have to talk about is really is exercise. What kind of exercise are you doing? I love dancing. I love dancing. I love moving my body because when I move my body, I clear a lot of stuck energy. In my coaching practice, I have this body art. I do art. I use dance to clear emotions. Um, During this pandemic, there's a lot of emotions happening. Our emotions are running rampant, and we need to clear our emotions. So, walking does it for us, exercising does it for us. Maybe a bit of yoga would do it for you, some Pilates would maybe do it for you. Whatever you do, move your body to release the toxicity of the stress that is around you on a daily basis. And then there is this beautiful thing of just plugging in. I cannot stress that more. Pray or meditate. And as you do this, visualize what you're asking for. It is so beautiful, if you could visualize these things and not just pray with your lips, pray with your mouth, or cite scripture. It is important that you also see, you know, the thriving vision that you're after. A beautiful prayer that I found is, Dear God, thank you for this new day. So beautiful, so simple. Thank you for my breath. Thank you for my family who's still breathing. What would you have me say today, Lord? Where would you have me go today? And then listen deeply inside, be receptive. So I still have a lot of other tools, but I'm just leaving these tools with you because they are so potent. So, what is the deeper truth? The deeper truth of this whole conversation, ladies, is that you are stronger than you think. Maybe you've gone through divorces, maybe you've gone through death, maybe you've gone through job losses, unemployment, whatever the case might be. You are stronger than you think. We are spiritual beings. God said, I make you in the image and likeness of myself. That means that we are God in human costumes. We are spiritual beings in human costumes. In another space in the Bible, I think it's in Matthew, um, it says the kingdom of heaven is within us. What does that mean? Is it just words? Is it just words? Somewhere in John it says, ask and it is given, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open for you. This is what thrivers do. Thrivers will ask. Thrivers will say, Marianne, is there an opportunity for me here? Thrivers will say, Marianne, can you find us a space in that conference? Seek, and you shall find. Or you go knock and say, Marianne, you know what? I'm not making a lot of money. If you know of any place that I can go, where I can go and do my business, knock and the door will be open for you. Why? Because all of life is organizing around you for your success. Survivors put up a shield. Survivors say, oh, I just need to get on with my life. Oh, this pandemic can just get over and done with now. Oh, it's just what it is. And I'm so depressed. That is what a survivor does. A survivor will say, oh, I just need to take a tablet for this depression. I need to get back to my doctor and get um, something to sleep because I can't sleep at night. A thriver will say, no, let me try exercise. Let me try meditation. Um, because the deeper truth is, I am stronger than I think I am right now. Survivors hide behind a routine. Survivors hide behind chores. Um, thrivers, thrivers will say, no, let me try again. Let me see what is going on here. Let me make an assessment. Let me track. Let me have a recovery plan. The question is, ladies, what do you choose? What do you choose? Are you choosing to be a survivor or are you choosing to be a thriver? That's your choice. And remember what we said, the time is now. Consciousness, awareness of your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats is very important when you make this choice. Your subconscious mind has got many beliefs in it. And your subconscious mind, your ego will say, oh, Julia is just talking a lot of things there today. I don't think I want to go down that route. Oh, this is not for me. Oh, no, 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 no. This is very woo-woo up there. Oh, no. Let me tell you something, ladies. Your belief system is going to fight everything you want to change because we have been conditioned through our fight and flight modes. We have been conditioned. Our bodies are set up to either flee or to fight. So be prepared that your deep conditioning is going to kick in and prevent you from making a choice to thrive. However, I want you to consider this. Thriving is the only way out of this pandemic. The only way out to get out on the other side is to start thriving in your mind first, then in your body, and then to take it out into your home, your children, your family, to teach your children about thriving. We're not doing our children a favor when we just survive. We need to teach them how to thrive, how to look after themselves, how to fend for themselves, how to go out into the big world, doing what needs to be done. So in conclusion, how can we help ourselves? I'm inviting you to become mindful. Become aware in the present moment. Where am I? And if you can, cultivate a life where you can stay in the moment. In this moment, you have everything you need. Everything. You know, God is so amazing. God made every moment so full. There's nothing missing and there's nothing to worry about. It is just the human mind that has been conditioned to worry. So mindfulness is the way to go. And mindfulness is just about staying in the moment and not worrying about what the next moment brings. And I'm saying this so easily. It's not easy, but it is necessary and it is possible. And then to notice, am I reacting? Am I responding? When you react, you are surviving. When you respond, you are thriving. Notice what you are noticing. I love that. Notice what you are noticing and be curious. You know, I always say to my clients, be a Sherlock Holmes to yourself. Almost like you're walking behind yourself, looking at what you're doing all the time. Be Sherlock Holmes. Take this investigator mode to your own life and see how you live. Do you live with mindfulness or do you live with reaction? Are you reacting to everything around you? It is so easy to react. However, only survivors react. Thrivers respond. If there's something on my table, I'm not going to react. I'm going to take a minute, take a step back, come back and respond. Somebody sent me a nasty email. I'm not going to react. I'm going to write a nasty email back, but I'm not sending it. I'm taking a step back. Let me just sleep on it, come back, remove those anger words, rewrite my email, take another step back, make a cup of tea, come back, sleep on it. Now I have much better words I can respond. And when you do this, ladies, your life shifts magically. Bring that acute awareness to your life. Start with you. Start with a woman in the mirror. Start with a woman in the mirror. You cannot start with your child or your husband. In fact, it is futile to try and change our spouses, our partners, before even starting with us. Bring acute awareness to yourself and then relax. Make time to relax with a cup of tea. Put your feet up. Relax with a book. Relax outside. Go outside. Stand there. Put your feet on the grass. Just relax. Assess your life. Where am I in my life now? I'm close to retirement. What do I need? I'm living alone. Can I still live alone in this house? Assess your life. It's so important. And keep track of everything. Keep track of your will, your book of life, your passport, whatever it is that you need to track. People, places, make a track record. Quiet your mind of negative inner self-talk. I cannot stress this enough. We ruminate a lot. We live a lot in this little space here. Go and live in the rest of your body and just quiet your body and become aware and just sit sometimes. And then, as Daniel Kahneman said, learn to think fast and slow. Thinking slow is listening to your intuition. Because I'm going to tell you some very interesting things. He says your intuition will kick in anyway, because that is just how we are built. Without you thinking about it, your intuition is working right now. Your subconscious mind is working right now. You don't have to think about it. It is breathing your lungs. It is looking through your eyes. It is making you hear. That is what is happening. Your slow operating system is happening whether you are aware of it or not. The fast one is when you start thinking, oh, what can I do? What is the solution? Where do I need to go? How can somebody help me? The hero one here is your intuitive system. Cultivate listening, being receptive to your intuitive system. It is that system that make you stop crossing the road and then you see this big truck come past you. That is the system that is in charge. Or the system that says, don't go out into the street today, go tomorrow. And then you hear there was a robbery in that shop, because that system was warning you. So cultivate a receptivity to that system. And I promise you, your life can change in magical ways. Act with discernment and loving kindness to humanity and nature. I cannot stress this enough. That nature loves us. We have to love nature back. Nature loves us. Nature loves us. We have to make an effort to love nature back. And the effort that we can do is to sustain her, to look after her. I often put it this way: God, thank you for this piece of land you've given me here on the West Rand. If I can look after this small piece of land, then I can look after bigger. So if you cannot look after your small piece of land, that nature that God has given you, don't even go and try to be a humanitarian to want to look after the rainforest. First, put your focus on your piece of land. What are you doing there? Are you making a beautiful garden? Are you recycling? What are you doing on your piece of land? Ladies, this talk is not a preach. This talk is an invitation for you to live with much more awareness, with much more consciousness, with much more mindfulness. Firstly, in your own space, and then to take it out into your families. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for considering what I shared with you today. And just thank you for being here in this moment, touching me in a most amazing way. And thank you, Dani. Appreciate you on the call as well.
Thank you, Julia, for that very inspiring talk. The comments that I see here in the chat box is really very positive. I think from my side, there's a link that you can see in the chat box now. That's just an evaluation form. It will take you about 3 minutes to complete. If you can do that, please. I would like to end this session with a quote from Mark Anthony. And one day she discovered that she was fierce and strong and full of fire, and that not even she could hold herself back. because her passion burns brighter than her fears. So with all of the very positive and inspirational things that we've heard today, I wish you well. I wish you a fantastic Women's Day on Sunday. Very nice time with your family, and take out that time that Julia spoke about. Take out the time for yourself. Julia, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much, Marianne, and thank you for the invitation. And ladies, have an amazing Women's Day. Thank you. And thank you, Marianne. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Pleasure. Thank you. Okay, everyone, please remember just to complete that, click on the link in the chat box that Donnie posted for the evaluation.
Marianne, excuse me, is there any questions perhaps that anybody wants to
ask?
Yes,
I forgot to ask that. Any questions, anyone? You can unmute your mic or you can post in the chat box. There is still about 1 minute left. Don't feel that you have to end this. There's no questions from Beverly. Julia, I take it that you can see the comments in the chat box. Can you see them, Julia?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see that. Yeah, it looks like most people have. So everybody that's commenting so far have really enjoyed it, found it amazing and inspirational.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Okay, but just staying on for that. Yes.
Marianne, I will send you the self-care talk. Then you can just circulate it among your ladies. And it is just for information, really, about, you can take care of yourself in this radical, stressful time. So
thank you. Yeah. We'll do that. Thank you, Julia, for sharing that.
Thank you.
Right, we're just staying online so that those that are still wanting to say something or ask something. And there's the link again in the chat box. If you can just click on it and answer those couple of questions. So most people are leaving now. Okay. Don't look like there's any questions, Julia. I think
no, that's fine.
I'll let you know if there are any.
Okay.
So far, everybody's just logging off now. By the looks of it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the beautiful comments. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your we enjoyed it.
Annette, ek het jou nou nie gehoor nie.
Thank you for your inspirational talk today.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Just from the comments on the survey, moving from surviving to thriving, a theme of great complexity and stress. Thank you.
Are there people that have completed the survey, Donnie?
I've got 10 responses so far.
Okay.
See. Takes just under 2 minutes. See how many people are still in. I have 14 responses. Wow.
Mariska, I see you're still on the line. And Beverly, Rabeshni.
16. Just posting the link again so it's there.
There's a question, will we be able to get the presentation? Zinengi, we will post the link to we will post this on our YouTube. Just give us a day or two. It has been recorded, and then we'll send you the link so you can watch the whole presentation at your leisure. Thanks, Beverly. She's left. Leisha Zinengi.
We have 18 responses.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording now.